and moment. And we are live. Here we go. There we go. I know, Madeline, you're smiling. You're like, yeah, I'm going to do that every
Oh,
time. All right.
yep.
Yeah, it's a fun. Madeline and I are having fun here. We like to have a good
Yep.
time. Hopefully, you all that are joining us have fun with us too, because this is who we are.
Yeah.
Just two goofy ladies who love astrology, spirituality, and this wacky life that we live. So, anyway, wacky ladies here, Amalia Natalio and Madeline Park.
Hola, Taurus.
And
I
we
love Spanish.
are
I want to learn Spanish, but anyway, go ahead.
just
Not
throwing in a little.
yeah.
She's rocking her Miami-ness here
Yeah.
while in Sandpoint.
Hmm.
So we're gathering together to discuss the Pisces new moon, which is occurring on February 27th, just a few days from now at 7:44 p.m. Eastern at 9 degrees 40 minutes. Um, you know, didn't we have the last full moon was at 9 degrees? Seems like
Was it a full moon? I think the series of new moons are all happening at 9 degrees.
9 degrees. Yeah.
Yep,
Maybe it was a new moon.
yep, we have an eclipse coming in Aries at 9 degrees, 10 degrees. That's a full moon.
Yeah.
Wait. We're about to have a new moon, so that's going to be a full moon.
We've got some stuff going on here. 9 degrees and nine
Sorry, I take
degrees.
that back. The full moon eclipse is happening in Pisces on the March 14th. So that's happening at Pisces. I'm sorry, that's a Virgo eclipse. And then so that's going to be a new moon. And then we have the solar eclipse in March of 29th, which is Aries, which is going to hit at 9 degrees.
Oh yeah. So we got this 9 degrees is
Yep.
important. I wish I had realized this before. I would have done a little research, but maybe we'll talk about it next time.
Hmm.
Okay, so Pisces, water sign. It is the last sign of the zodiac. There's to me, Pisces is there is so much depth. Depth. It's like almost like this depth and this grandness of it of information that comes with it. It's like everything you've learned in the previous signs you're bringing together. It's like a culmination in a way. The body gates that are connected with this are the feet, the toes, and the pineal, amongst others, but they're the kind of the highlights. I want to just give a little bit of an overarching picture here, and then I'm going to go into the aspects, talk about the flower for the Pisces new moon, and share the gene key that's activated in for this Pisces new moon as well. I think it adds another dimension to what Madeline and I share here. And I know Madeline is, because she's already talked about this, if you're following her on social, whether it's Instagram or YouTube, she's talked about this already. I know she'll be talking about it again now. It'll probably be there are other aspects of this that will be showing up that will be discussed further as well. But there are 6 planets and points in Pisces for this new moon, and we'll be sharing the chart shortly. Neptune, North Node, Mercury, Saturn, the Sun, and the Moon. And then to add to that, right next to Pisces, the next sign over, Aries, we've got Venus and Chiron in Aries. So they're all lined up. It's actually quite beautiful to look at on the chart. You'll see it momentarily when Madeline shares the screen of this new moon. And no planets are in retrograde. So we are in this full steam ahead energy right now. And I don't know if anyone is feeling it. If drop in the chat if you're feeling this like this energy of moving, things are moving ahead. Things are like the log jams that you might have experienced in your life are beginning to break free. And I know I'm experiencing that. Some of my clients, people around me, and it's really it feels good, but it also feels like you need a moment to orient yourself because I feel like, at least for me, I'll speak for myself. I've been in this like stalled period, like a period of pause, a period of reflection. And now it's like full steam ahead. And I'm just trying to like hold on as everything is just taking off. It's great, it's exhilarating, but just remember those practices to ground yourself. Go outside, feel the sunshine on your face, bare feet on the grass if you're in a place that you can do that without it being too cold. I know where Madeline is, that's not really doable. There's not much grass to be seen, but
Nope.
a little too chilly, but
Hmm.
just getting outside in nature is really, really helpful. Connecting inwardly, breath is really good, box breathing, things like that. Um, Let's talk about the aspects this Pisces moon has. So the moon and the sun are conjunct. They're hanging out together, little buddies and pals, as they do in every new moon. So we've got the moon and the sun in Pisces. So there's an energy of focusing on healing any spiritual or emotional wounds and reconnecting with yourself. Like I said before, there's some depth to this, this Pisces energy and some emotions that may surface. We have a really nice aspect with the moon trine Mars. So a couple keynotes I wrote down that I think might help people anchor in what that means, because Mars, it's a fire sign, but it's in the sign of Cancer. It's now moving forward, moving direct. So that's a little bit of a different energy than we've been experiencing for a few weeks now. So now we're able to navigate any feelings that come up more effectively. Before it was really hard to do that. Now it's like, okay, I'm aware of this emotion and I can process it. I can see it. I can observe it without getting too caught up in it. You'll be sensitive to the needs, your emotional needs, and other people. There won't be so much of that self-focus. You'll be aware of what other people are feeling and needing as well. And there's an energy of courage, Mars, and compassion, Pisces. So just have an awareness of having that sense of what other people might need and having the courage to say also or speak up around what you might need as well. And then the final aspect that I want to talk about is the moon squaring Jupiter. Jupiter is in Gemini. So now we've got a little bit of tension with the square, tension between your imagination and intuition, Pisces, and the expansive communication vibes of Jupiter in Gemini. So just be aware of how those two energies might not necessarily jive. Your intuition may be telling you one thing, and then there might be a conflict in the way someone's communicating to you or way you're communicating to someone else about this intuitive hit you get. So that balance of logic and intuition. And then we've got taking into consideration that Jupiterian energy in Gemini, the moon and the sun in Pisces. There may be highlights for opportunities for you when it comes to growth and expansion, Jupiter, related to learning and communication, Gemini. And that sun and the moon will kind of bridge the inner and outer worlds of yourself at the time, highlight something that you might be able to take advantage of an opportunity, but it may not feel very comfortable because you're going to be stretched. There might be emotional connections to it too. So that's the aspects to the moon. I know Madeline's going to be talking a lot more about some of the things that I mentioned, just kind of an overarching theme. I'm going to share with you all the impact chart because I love this. I feel like it is so helpful to see what's going on and be able to translate that for yourself, and look and see where you might have these, planets or points at these different places. So let me pull this up for everyone. And okay, so here we go. So any points or planets you have between 4 and 14 degrees of the mutable signs, which is Pisces, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Gemini, look at your chart. Just see if you have any planets or points between 4 and 14 degrees of those signs, because you will be feeling this pretty intensely, whether it's, conjunct, you have something in Pisces, or you have a square in Sag or Gemini, or an opposition in Virgo. This might be a time of some significant change for you. There might be some discomfort. It will pass. It's just for the moment, and it's moving you forward in a new way. So just keep that in mind. And there are things that we can do to prepare, just making sure that we get enough sleep, make sure that we're eating well, make sure that we're moving our bodies, just simple things that you can maybe just take a little extra care during this moon cycle if those areas are, an issue for, an area for you in your chart. And then, I don't know, Madeline, do you want me to go ahead and share the flower,
Sure.
and the gene key
Why
now,
not?
and then you can jump in and just roll? Okay. So let me share the flower first. We have the silk floss. I think this is such an interesting flower. This gives us confidence. It reminds us that it's our time to shine. and it allows us to feel good in our bodies and feel confident being in our own skin. And what I think is interesting about this flower for this particular moon cycle is that Pisces is one of those signs where, you know, this may not be a natural place for them to be. And so this is giving us, to me, as being a new moon, it's almost like a new lease on life. It's like a reminder of the beauty that we carry within us. It's that reconnecting with ourselves and being able to shine our own authentic light out in the world. So it's not about being flashy, but it is about being genuine, about being real and being comfortable with who we are. And when we've been through all these other signs and we're coming into this Pisces energy, it's almost like this full acceptance. It's like this completion. We've learned something and we're growing from that place and we can shine brightly. Do you have any thoughts about this flower, Madeline?
Well, I feel like I've never seen that one before.
I don't know if we have had this one before.
Yeah. So it's interesting because it does sort of clarify the message in a way of this new moon, which is super spiritual.
Yeah.
It's like very white, bright light coming right down, making something very clear. And I will go into that here when you're ready.
And this like this stamen that's coming out here, it's almost like this, like a hand that's like
Mm,
come forth into this light,
mhm,
or one that's giving, one that's like
mm.
sharing of themselves. So
Interesting.
either way, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
Yeah.
quite beautiful. So this is the silk floss. And then one final thing I want to share, and I know I'm fire hosing you guys, and Madeline hasn't even started yet,
I
but the
am.
the
I'm,
the
I'm
last
watching.
little sorry, say that
I'm
again.
just sitting here as an audience at this point.
Well, I hope I'm entertaining.
You are.
So the last bit is the gene key that I started this last week. There's so many different perspectives that we can take and so many different angles of information that's available to us. And gene keys is one that is really dear to me that I use in my session work and with my clients. And I just want to bring a little bit of that to this as well, just to give another facet of information for folks who love astrology, but also are curious about other avenues of interest. So the gene key and I'm just going to share an Instagram post that I shared today because we just switched into this key. The sun is in the 37th gene key, and the keynotes for this one are tenderness, equality, and weakness. Tenderness is what's called the Siddhi, Siddhi. It's this, I think of it as like the essence or the highest vibrational frequency of this particular energy. Equality is the gift. It's like that middle ground. And then weakness is the shadow. So the way you can look at this or contemplate this for this moon is, where in our lives do we feel weak? Where in our lives do we see weakness around us? How can we bring more of a sense of equality into our lives? So there might be a weakness because we're imbalanced in some way. We're eating too much sugar, or we're not eating enough vegetables, for example, bringing more equality into the mix. You can look around. I don't want to go into the political or global landscape too much, but you can see where inequality equates to weakness in some ways. And then bringing in this tenderness, finding a way to soften into our hearts and bring tenderness to those areas of our lives and or the world around us, where if we really show a little bit of tenderness to someone, to ourselves, not give ourselves a hard time for the things that we may have done or misunderstood, that really can open up a whole new experience, a whole new way of being, and the way we engage with with life and the world around us. So and this also connects with the solar plexus from a physiological perspective. And what I love about that is that that's our power center. It's creativity as well, and personal power. And I feel like that's and it's also emotional. And this is an emotional moon cycle. It's that feminine water energy. So there's so much goodness, I think, when you look at this one gene key, and there's 64 for this moon cycle, that can give people another place of just contemplation, that and awareness going forward for the next couple weeks. So
How did
That
you choose that card? Does it say that's for the Pisces? It's for where the sun is right now? It's at this degree? Okay.
exactly. Yep. Yeah. So basically it just moved into this sphere today. And each day is a little bit of a different energy. And it's like there's different lines. I'm actually going to record a video about this because I feel like it would be helpful for
I think that's
folks
a good idea.
who aren't
Really?
familiar.
Yeah, because I don't really understand it. I'm trying. Like I was looking at your post today, I'm thinking, okay, what's this connecting to? So, yeah,
Okay, great. I
I say
will.
put in a little more info for us.
I will. I would be happy to do that. And it actually it's funny because it occurred to me today. I was talking with someone and was sharing with her a little bit about this, and I realized I don't think I have any information out there anywhere for folks. So I will definitely share more. But it's basically for the next 6 days starting today. So
Okay.
when we have the Pisces new moon, the sun is still in that 37th key in that
Okay.
37th sphere. So the energy slightly changes each day,
Hmm.
but that's the
How many
overarching.
degrees of does that each card represent in the sky? Like how many, from what degree to what degree? Does it say like the sun is at this degree and then to this degree, you look at this card, and then when the sun is at 14 degrees to 20 degrees? Is there a range of degrees or is it just there
Yes.
it is?
Yeah, there is a range of degrees, but it's not the same as astrology. It's a little
Like
bit different.
13 degrees. Each card represents 13 degrees. Usually it would
Well, there's six segments.
for
So
each
it's just
sign.
so that's what is that? Six, five degrees
Okay,
each?
so each card represents about 5 degrees of a
Yeah.
transit. Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that right? 6 times 5 is 30. And
Yes.
there's 30 degrees
Yes.
in a sign. Yeah.
59, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah,
All
it's
right.
it's just yeah, just another place to go.
Yeah.
I don't want to confuse anyone either, but I think even if you know nothing about what the gene keys are, what's going on, if you really just take those three words and contemplate them and look at what shows up in your life when you have those in mind, it's
Hmm.
amazing what you see. Like the
Yeah.
areas of your body or your life that might be weak, where are things in balance, where you can bring more equality in? Where do you notice inequality in the world? And then how can you show yourself or others tenderness, which to me feels very Piscean
Hmm.
in a
It does,
way.
that does
Um,
resonate with me, that those messages on that card with Pisces.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So just slightly different perspective, but or again, we think we're talking about the same things.
Well,
We're in the same vibe.
I find a lot of people, they have these opinions, rigid opinions about this form of astrology works, this form of astrology doesn't work. Vedic is the only real one. Da 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 da. You can only do this. And I just find like it fascinating because they all work. They every individual
Yes.
person will find how it works for them. If it works, whatever modality you can make works.
Right. What do you
Right.
what do you resonate with? What
Yeah.
what language speaks to you? And that's what I notice with my client work too, is that some people really connect with astrology and some
Mm-hmm.
people don't at all. And
Yeah.
so then that's when I go into gene keys or human design and pull that or soul contract, which has nothing. I mean, there are astrological connections, but it's really just based on sound. So that's a completely different system. And some
Well,
people really resonate with that.
and what I've experienced, because I flirt with all of them pretty much.
Mhm.
I love them all. I want to learn as much as I can. They all are saying a similar thing from a different angle. If you look at the nakshatra and you throw it to your Western astrology, even though that nakshatra says it's Aquarius, it tells you all this stuff. That's what we're going to talk about. It tells you all this Pisces information. So in Western, it's in the
Mm.
Pisces sky, but they both completely, and then it's same with Sagittarius and Scorpio. The Sagittarius nakshatra is tells you all the Scorpio stuff. I'm sorry, the other way around. In Western, if it's Sagittarius, it goes into Scorpio, and then you read
Yes.
nakshatra, and it's so Sagittarius. I mean, it has a Scorpio element to it as well, but there's it really all works in my
Yeah.
experience, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fascinating. Like
Yeah.
it really, it's
You're
just,
basically looking at a third, you're looking at a hexagram like like a Merkaba. It's got
uh-huh.
all sides, and you're looking at this Merkaba from this angle, from this angle, from this angle, and from that angle. That's how I like to say it.
And if anyone's trying to understand what that, like imagine a star, like a Star of David, but three-dimensionally. That's pretty much what a Merkaba is. And it spins, it's like our energy vehicle, and it
Mhm.
spins in two different directions at the same time, and it kind of it gives us it gives us energy, it gives us life force, it helps us move through the world. There's information. Um, you can program your Merkaba. Like, I don't want to go too off the rails, but like it's kind of
Love
cool.
the Merkaba thing. I find it so exciting.
Yeah, it's really kind of fun. It's fun. It's fun. So maybe we'll have a conversation about that
Yeah,
sometime in the future. Okay, so Madeline, you ready to
I'm
lay it
ready.
out for us?
Yep, I'm very ready because I'm excited about this new moon because it hits directly on my MC and on my MC and Chiron.
Ooh.
But but my chart, I'm not, but I'm just going to quickly say something. My chart has a mystic rectangle, and it's made with, it connects with this point in the sky, which is 9 degrees Pisces. And my rectangle goes to my north node, which is 11 degrees Cancer, makes a trine to Uranus, 10 degrees Virgo, which, by the way, anybody that's born around 63, 64, 65 is going to have this new moon opposing their Uranus, which really emphasizes a big shift and change, like sudden
Mm.
upheavals and things like that. But it's all very positive.
Yeah,
Sometimes
I'm
Pisces
glad
doesn't
I'm
seem,
glad you said that for
yeah, I know
anyone out there who's
sometimes
like,
Pisces doesn't seem positive though, because things are dissolving, things are falling apart. Things
"Mm,
are that are not a part of our life. And so if there's attachment, a lot of people are having a lot of resistance to this. I've noticed in my readings, and I notice in the news, to the new political changes in the world that have to happen. I mean, it's insane that people are resisting it. I'm not politically biased, but I'm just using that as an example of how people are working against the changes that need to happen, because we're
mhm,
evolving it. We're basically on a reset. Um, so I'm kind of jumping around here, but basically all these planets are going to line up here March 29th. I was telling you earlier before we signed on, it's not a good time to travel. There could be natural disasters. We're seeing the Saturn and the North Node are going to conjoin. When they conjoin, especially in these energies, it's really a whirlwind of movement in our lives, like changes, shifts, movement, fast movement. It's a big wind of change, like these those two. The North Node amplifies whatever energy it connects with. It's like a big fire bazooka. Like, for instance, the woman who is the press secretary for Trump right now, I was checking her chart out because she's such a good public speaker, so clear and powerful and strong. She has Rahu Mercury. So she has this confidence. So when you have Rahu in the picture, you have the North. It pushes this energy behind that planet. So we've got Saturn dissolving things, rapid breakdowns, rapid falls aparts of things that just the old structures are dying,
mm,
fading, collapsing. Even the paradigm of the dualities, the shall we say the because Pisces is a lot about perception. So our perceptions are collapsing around all of these things, around politics. It's just, around society. I mean, all of our old ways of seeing things is just dissolving away. And we're going to be having the eclipses in Pisces now and Virgo, and we're having a one in Aries, but basically for the next 18 months around this area. So this new moon is literally the beginning of, sorry, I feel like I'm talking over the image. This new moon is the beginning of the things that we're going to start seeing happening in our lives in these series of eclipses. So, in other words, this new moon is the eclipse. It is the ushering in of the reset. We're on a reset. So,
Madeline, I think your Wi-Fi is maybe a little
is it?
unstable.
Can you see me right here? Am I in?
Yeah.
Am I there? Do you see me?
Maybe. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you hear what I said? Should I say it again, or is it good?
Maybe say it one more time just in case.
So this new moon is literally the initiation of our new reset that these eclipses are bringing in. So we're having a big reset societally and in our personal lives. We're Pisces, wherever it falls in our chart, which we're going to go through for everybody. There is the dissolve and the dissolution and the release and a let go. This is the new moon that brings in the new beginnings that are going to start changing our lives. Now, the other thing about this new moon, which is interesting, is if everybody looks back, if you were an adult at this age of 2016, October 15th, 2015 to about the summer of 2016, Neptune was at the same degree. Neptune, which rules this eclipse, I'm sorry, this new moon, which will also be involved in the eclipse. Um, Something would have initiated, something would have shown up in our lives around that time that we were not spiritually evolved for enough.
Hmm.
Society wasn't ready enough spiritually. This is an awakening new moon because people are waking up to spirituality. And this new moon, and while we have all these planets happening in Pisces, there's going to be some sort of social proof that spirituality is science. Like it is real. Like this stuff is real. There's going to be some, because Neptune was in Pisces around in that time, around 2015 and 2016, where spiritual experiences may have happened in many people's lives, especially anybody that's being directly impacted by this new moon, because this refers back to that, because I had a very powerful experience back then, which really shows me where this new moon is going for me, right? Two things big happened for me that time. I started developing a journal on balancing spiritual and material energies, right? Which in fact was so weird. Mars stationing direct. I went to the coffee shop today. I was working on that. Um,
Yay.
yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen your journal. It's a great journal.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I sold them all, so I want to do a new one. I want to update it. So now, so that's coming in for me at this new moon, and I started it at exactly the same freaking point that Neptune is at. I mean, it just blows my mind. And then Mars is direct, so I'm motivated, I'm driven, I want to do it, right? I'm back to being motivated. Now, the other thing that that happened to me was I had a very powerful spiritual experience. I had a spirit come through to me who passed away, who claims to be the new earth, a leader to bring us into, usher us into the age of Aquarius, which I hope one day to be able to write about. So I'm just using that as an example for everyone to think back to that time that you had some sort of a spiritual experience or some sort of. Now, the other thing about this is a dream or a vision. You may have had a vision about your future, because Pisces is all about the other dimension. It's Pisces is about making real. Well, Virgo makes real the unseen that is in Pisces, that comes to us through Pisces. That Virgo then turns into a material, practical, usable thing, right? Like, for instance, if you channel a spirit, Virgo, you're going to write about it so other people can hear it or can hear the message. So Mercury's in its exaltation there. So it's a messenger. It brings messages that come from the higher realm. That is the quantum field. This is what's happening right now. We're in the quantum field because we're working with Pisces, the unseen force. And then that next eclipse in Virgo is how we bring it into the material realm that serves humanity, because Virgo is all about service. So this new moon is life-changing. I'm going to share the chart and we can go in on it here and show you. Now, remember that square to Jupiter you were talking about? You see it more as a challenge. I see it actually as a structural support. All this water energy, Cancer water, is very, really like, whoa, like we could get ideas and things that are just like way out there that could be delusional. That's just like no structure, because Pisces water, with all those planets in Pisces, very little structure. Things feel very undefined, very un. So when we get that Jupiter in Gemini, which is about the material realm. Again, we got the micro and the macro always being in conversation in astrology. So we've got this micro to the macro. So Jupiter's keeping us logical, keeping us in the right thinking, keeping us grounded about it, keeping it practical, keeping the visions, the elusiveness of it all. Gives it,
I love that perspective.
yeah,
That's fantastic, Madeline.
yeah,
Because
gives
that
it
does,
full shape.
yeah. I feel like it can feel different ways for
It
different
can.
people. However, I think that perspective is great to plant that seed for folks so that if they do experience a challenge, also realize maybe that challenge is supportive.
Yes.
It's
And
helpful.
again, all challenging aspects in astrology are supportive, are trying to redirect us and get us back
Yeah.
into alignment. And it's a great benefic, Jupiter, and a square I find with benefics. The Jupiter benefics are very helpful. Like they don't, you're not suffering through it.
Hmm.
But the one thing that can happen with a Jupiter square is you can go too far. You can hurt your body. You can go, like, in other words, Jupiter's going to stop us from doing that because it's a square. So it's keeping us in our logic. keeping us in our although some people may have a problem finding the logic. Again, it depends on your placement because it's so nebulous. Neptune is nebulous. It's foggy. It's unclear. That Jupiter square is saying, I'm sending you clarity. Mars trine, sending you clarity of action. There is
Hmm.
support so that it's not just blah. Otherwise, it's just going to be like a puddle of water with no seam. Just anyway, that's an aspect of it to look at. This is a dream, magic. This is magic. This is psychic. This is spiritual. This is about the higher realm. This is about a vision, the dream life. We're having a reset here. We're living a whole new life here. It's a whole new paradigm. We're starting from scratch again. That's why, like, I had an idea about the politics. Why don't we just scratch all of it and start over? Like,
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people would agree with you.
yeah. And just like find out, let's put the blocks in place that hold that work. Let's just start with that. So that's where we're headed after this. We're literally going to rebuild from scratch. Like what is needed? Like, well, okay, we need a block on each corner to hold it up. We're starting right there. Like that's the minimal. And then when, because we're all these planets are going to move into Aries, which is these new, brand new beginnings where we're going to be literally implementing the new paradigm of the beginnings that are coming in at this new moon. So this new moon and the series of eclipses are going to change our lives, redirect us, put us into soul mission, put us into divine partnerships or whatever your ultimate partnership, your true situation where you co-collaborate and you have a mission. This is all about soul contracts. We're entering into this new spiritual era. We're going to have Neptune move into Aries, where we're going to be boldly taking initiatives in spirituality. People are absolutely waking up to the power of the unseen forces because they're there to work with us. That's how we manifest abundance. That's what I do my journal about. That's what that book is I'm writing. So, so this new moon brings us, and the other thing about this new moon, which I think is kind of exciting, is that we didn't believe it could happen. Like we're starting to see new beginnings in places and in ways that we just didn't even believe this would ever happen one day. Like people would really believe us about spirits and about this stuff, or tarot readers, like people are going to start seeing it as a really scientific, intellectual way to really solve problems outside of the box thinking. It's no longer just a woo-woo psychic witchy woman. This is practical ways to create abundance in our lives and to align with our intuitive and our mind.
I have a,
So
I have a question about this
yeah,
because you said this earlier, and I thought, okay, I can hear and imagine people out there going, okay, how? Because you and I actually wrote this down, social proof that spirituality is science. And you mentioned that again. So for those questioners out there, those who might be a little skeptical, can you give us an example of how you see that potentially showing up? I have a couple of ideas, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
yeah. Well, the astrologers predicting things and then coming accurate over and over and over.
Hmm. Hmm.
It started, people see it as no longer, they call it a pseudoscience, but it's actually a science. It's actually alchemy. It's based on exactly the same principles of chemistry. I was really good at chemistry when I was in high school. I used to get 99%. It's alchemy. It's science.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it has just been, we've been lied to about the power of it because whoever the controllers were, whoever those people are that buried it, didn't want us to be this empowered.
Yeah.
So to enter into a more spiritual era, it means individual empowerment because we're empowered through our own connection with the higher realm. And that's what's people are going to wake up to in this new moon, that we each have a umbilical cord to the higher realms. Does their water still boiling? Sorry, I thought I left my pot on. I hear water boiling, but it's just rain. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, so we're tuning in on this new moon, and it can come in the form of an inspiration, with Mars stationed direct. By the way, we do have Mercury and Venus in shadow during this new moon. They are about to go retrograde.
Mm.
So something from the past is brewing here in this picture, which I could go into in another video, but it is a part of the story because for many, this new moon comes from something that had already been looked at before, and now we have more spiritual social backing for it or social awareness for it. And Neptune, because Neptune has been in Pisces, so since gosh, when did it go into Pisces? God, it has to have been around 2008. Oh, no, 2008 and 6, around 2008 perhaps. But anyway,
Okay.
so since then, spirituality has been growing like a little tree, growing. And then it gets to that 29th degree point, and it's like a full-on tree, and people are like going, whoa, like this is for real.
Like the tree of life.
Yeah, yeah. But basically, because we're pulling out of the dark ages, we're pulling out of the era of Pisces, which is the dark ages, which is all about karma clearing, and it is about delusional, it is about making false prophets, basically anything material we celebrate as divine is false. The only thing the only
Yeah.
real gods are non-material, like they're non-material, like so we're restoring back to the appraisal of the non-material. And so this new moon is the portal, it is the opening of this spiritual new beginnings. Now, remember that is a wide concept. It can just mean your soul calling. If it is your soul calling to be a natural dentist, you suddenly decide I have a whole new idea on how to be a dentist. I'm just throwing some ideas out there. Or, if you're a filmmaker, you suddenly decide you want to send more spiritual messages rather than material messages or hedonistic energies around it. We're going to start seeing a shift in all these sort of hedonistic types of advertising, films, fashion, and it's going to go more into a soulful, higher consciousness. Is it good for the planet? The messages, people are going to be much more conscious of what their messages are. Like, what is your higher consciousness mission?
Hmm.
So you're going to get this sort of, everyone's sort of into it. They're into the idea of having a high, like even if you don't, if you're, let's say you're working at a job somewhere and it's not your favorite job, but you're there. Let's say Starbucks. Let's just give it some sort of like a routine job. But then you're going to start on the side some sort of higher mission, desire, dream that you can maybe do one day. And you have a dream of being a traveler that shows everyone how beautiful other countries are and other cultures, let's say. And then in that process, that's your spiritual mission, and it's spiritual, and you may not necessarily say, oh, it's spiritual, but actually it would bring a sense of cultural awareness or understanding of global other ways of seeing the world or other ways of people doing things. So it's like that that Pisces energies is really, and it's very creative too, so it's outside the box, because we're entering a new paradigm. So it's not going to be stuff that's been done before. The more I work with a woman who runs, I don't want to say what her business, I don't want her idea to be lost, but she's incorporating in her business for women spiritual card readings, astrology, and stuff like that. And it's just going to take off. Like it's beautiful.
Mm. I
So,
love that.
yeah, so we're seeing so many ways in which people want to start integrating higher consciousness, social awareness, spirituality, bringing people together. I do think the political divide may raise, until this period of March 29. But then I think the resistance starts to fade in everyone's lives, personal lives, as they see the benefits that we're going to start seeing on the other side of this hump, which I'll look into more deeply soon, but could be very, very, it's going to be great, whatever happens. But the reset comes with sometimes of catastrophe. So, and chaos. We're going to see a lot of chaos in the month of March, zero doubt about it.
Well, I
Uh,
think it's already emerging. I
yeah.
would feel like there's hints and glimmers and things already that are like in our faces that are falling apart and already beginning that reset process.
Yes, we're already starting to see the new beginnings here. Um, so, so yeah, I guess
All right.
that's kind of it.
So let's jump into the signs, starting with
Yes.
Aries. Let's see what's
Right.
shaking. Do you have your cards you want to hold up,
I
Madeline?
do, believe it or not, I'm actually somewhat organized today. Aries.
Round of applause.
Yes, so let me just get the chart lined up to Aries here. Where are we? We're on Taurus, so let's go back one here. Am I going the right way? Hang on a sec. Let me just get Aries in on the. Come on, Aries. What? Sorry, guys. Sorry. Okay. Aries is going to have it in their Pisces. Well, it's in your 12th house. I don't need to do that already. So it's going to be in your 12th house. So these very interesting because Aries is the opposite of Pisces, right? It's the more material, the more, and also your ruling planet is now direct, so you're more motivated, you're more driven, there's more assertiveness, clarity of mind, clarity of purpose. And so these are new beginnings in the 12th house, which would indicate a sort of having overcome a karmic barrier to all things spiritual. So there's sort of like, I almost want to say for Aries, they just open up. That card is very that energy, like that you showed at the beginning with that white in the middle. I think that's so Aries with that 12th house Pisces. It's like, talk about psychic downloads, intuitive hunches, big time punch in the intuitive. Oh my God, I got to do this. The other thing, Mercury is in Pisces, so the logical mind is, other than that square to Jupiter, our logical mind is a little foggy, right? So a lot of this doesn't fit logic. Like you would do this despite the lack of logic around it, but it feels right. We're going intuitive. We got Mars still in water. We got intuitive punches. You feel it like a thud. So Aries are going to find an intuitive push to do something. It doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense, but they can feel that it's right. They know it's part of the future. They've woken up. I mean, that's probably the most spiritual sign that's going to be impacted the most spiritually by all these transits are Aries. They're going to have the biggest turnaround, the biggest flip, the biggest pendulum swing are Aries.
Interesting. I'll be curious if my one of my sons, if I
Mhm.
notice that, because he's been in
Yep.
uh an interesting place, at least with me. I'd have to look at some other aspects with him to see.
Yeah.
Um, he's also at an age, he's 21, so
Yeah, but I
there's
know
some of that
Aries
too.
that are 60 and above like that. So it's a
That's
little bit
yeah.
of an Aries trait because they're designed to be in the mud and in the dirt. The Aries are designed to be movers of the third dimension. So they do just relate mostly to the 3D. They're very
Mhm.
headstrong. It's very mental as well. So it's like this is a very sort of earth shattering energy, but also don't forget we're in the eclipse that's coming up, there's going to be let goes. So they are going through karmic entanglements involved too at the same time, which may not be easy. That 12th house stuff is not easy.
No, it isn't.
Yeah. So, but it is liberating. It's a moksha house. So it means these new beginnings liberate the Aries from their ego restraint. They feel free because in a way they're always fighting it. They're always saying, no, 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 no. I don't believe. I don't. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, forget it. I'm in. Let's go. Whatever it is, it is what it is. Like they're stopping that fight
They're
because it's going
yeah,
to be
they're giving up
exhausting.
the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, their Mars in retrograde made everyone inactive. So this is a proactive energy for them with letting go of their mental perceptive rigidity.
Yeah.
That's Aries.
All right. Well, Aries, we also have here for you. This is the wild hawkweed. So this is not quite the same, and the color isn't coming through quite as well with the lighting. It's really cloudy here today. So I've got
Mhm.
the light on around me and it doesn't show as well. But this has to do with self-sufficiency and falling in love with yourself, which I really love for Aries with the 12th house placement with this Pisces new moon. It's like they've gotten to know themselves in a different way, and falling in love with themselves and not craving love from anywhere else. It's recognizing what they have within. Now, Aries tend to be fairly egocentric. I don't mean to insult any Aries out there, but
And
it's
selfish, but we love
well, we love them. So
you can
this is
learn a
just
lot from Aries, actually. You can learn a lot from Aries. Go ahead.
there's just like a little bit, this is just a little shift to the flavor of what their experience is going to be. And it's another facet of their experience, really going within. So I really like this in terms of, and similar to what I talked about and what Madeline talked about at the beginning of the cosmic chat, it's also with the aspects to the moon. It's also recognizing your connections with others, having compassion for other people as well as yourself. And I think that's a really beautiful place for Aries to explore, to recognize other people's emotions and what they might be needing and feeling and experiencing, while still recognizing the beauty that they carry. So, wild hawkweed, great flower for Aries to connect with.
Yeah, and don't forget Aries have Venus in their sign, and that looks like relationship, reconciliation. Mars direct sometimes can bring relationship, but also it can bring relationship harmony. So it
Mm-hmm.
looks like for Aries, there's some sort of co-collaborative. It can be a partnership, not just romantic, but mostly romantic. Co-collaborative partnerships opening up, like opening up to a spiritual connection.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay. Taurus.
Okay. Taurus. Oh, the card. Taurus, Taurus. So this is happening for Taurans in your 11th house, right? So for the next, 18 months, your life is going to be changing and shifting through eclipses in your 11th house, which means you're going to be meeting new people, new tribe groups, new if you are a social media influencer, a lot of Taurans are artistic and creative. They might suddenly get recognition and seen for what they've been working on. I know some Taurans who are artists. They may have an art show. It shows their work. And then they start to become more of an artist than what they currently are. It's because these are new beginnings. We're redefining our lives. We're taking a new paradigm here. So this is very lucky new moon. It's desire, something you desire. It's a dream come true, something you really wish you could do. If only you could do this. Well, yes, you can. It's going to happen. So there's a new beginning in some sort of social venture out in the world. Can be a website, can be a social media. You could get a job as a news reporter. I mean, that's the 11th house is literally like a presenter. Um, you could start a YouTube channel, that kind of a thing, because you have this spiritual message that you want to bring out to the world. But all of this, again, is not necessarily definable through words with that Mercury there, but it is a hunch. You could win the lottery. You could buy a lottery ticket that day, but you want to go with your hunch. You want to use the spirit world. You want to call, if you're going to do the lottery, call for signs for your numbers. Call for the day. Say, I want to see the number of the day I should buy it and see that number. Play around with spiritual skills and techniques and symbolisms and signs and be guided by it. But this 11, because if you listen to this new moon, you listen spiritually. That's what we're supposed to do. It will guide you somewhere to a very abundant destiny, very supportive for, also you could get published. You could publish your own book or get published. So this is a new moon that brings you into a dream. It's a very lucky placement for this new moon for Taurus.
Well, you literally spoke to the words about this flower.
Oh,
Okay, so
wow.
this is the wild geranium.
Mm.
And wild geranium pretty much just says go for it.
Oh, great.
Obstacles are cleared, timing is right, the conditions are right. Now's the time to do it. Um, you don't have to wait any longer. And you literally spoke to something almost exactly like that. So there's something also, there's a sweetness to this flower also. So it might be something that feels very connected to the heart of Taurans. And they can finally go for it. This heart-based project.
I find it interesting we're getting two flowers.
Yeah, I thought the same thing too.
But here it says co-collaboratives. We're going into co partnerships, soul contracts.
Hmm.
Here's the other thing. That's the Neptune color with that purple Neptune. So it's creative. So there's some sort of creative flair and some sort of creative, but again, it's a spiritual, it's outside the box, it's imaginative, imagination, the arts. Neptune rules the arts.
just yeah, so much goodness here.
Yeah.
And for those two, like I would just a reminder, like with these flowers, there are there's the physical forms of them that you can use, but you can also just take a screenshot of the flower. You can just take a mental picture in your mind and connect with that flower through this moon cycle, and it's surprisingly supportive. I'd be just play with it. If you're kind of skeptical, just give it a go. See what happens. Certainly can't hurt anything.
Yeah.
So, okay. Gemini.
Gemini. So Gemini are going to have this. For some reason, my darn app isn't working. Gemini are going to have this hitting in their 10th house. Um, yeah. So this is interesting for Gemini. I mean, this is it's definitely a shift in their motive in a way, because Jupiter represents a lot of times our purpose, our divine calling. This is ruled by Jupiter, this full moon, this new moon. So this is a sort of divine calling, a desire, something that Gemini have been wanting to do on a soul level that they may not have they may have felt might look weird, or being spiritual is this idea may have felt in 2016 way back may have seemed too out there and woo woo or something. And so now they're feeling okay, but this new moon brings universal support. So whatever shows up around this new moon has some sort of has a force behind it that's going forward. So it's like, okay, well, I guess this can happen. I guess this can work. I guess there's an opportunity here for me now to open this up. Can come from within. It can come from a soul push, feeling really motivated with Mars and plus you've got Jupiter in your first house. So Jupiter in your first house, Gemini, they're initiating things, they're coming up with the new ideas. They're feeling inspired to start things. Um, so with Pisces in the 10th house, there's clarity coming with Mars direct around a desire of a new way of making money that liberates you, because we're always looking at this Pisces energy. So they're dissolving a career or the way they work, or something about their work. They tilt it more to a more higher consciousness vision. A new vision comes in for their career. They have a new vision that these eclipses are going to start sort of coloring in, filling in.
Hmm.
But this is going to be a new beginning in the career realm where it feels more in alignment with their soul. And it's going to be all these shifts and changes are the new life. So there's a good chance this is going to change their career and the way they proceed in their career. And it's going to be much more higher consciousness, more spiritually balanced with the material, and more soul fulfilling and liberating. We got to add that in because it frees you up from this way of working that is just laborious.
It's interesting the way you were describing all this, and like one of the elements of the fireweed, which looks very similar to
Oh.
the silk floss that we started with. So we've got, I mean, this is one flower, but it's a similar sort of a feeling, I
I've
think.
seen any of these flowers before.
It's pretty
So
interesting.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So with the fireweed, let me put this one back. It does, you were talking about dissolving things that are standing in the way. And this is pretty much what that is. It's dissolving emotions around a specific experience that might have been blocking them from moving forward in their career or moving forward in how they engage with the world or the public. It strengthens one's capacity to love. It also helps recovery from any sort of heartbreak. And I think heartbreak can really stall us from moving forward in our life in many, many ways. But even when it comes to how we're showing up in the world, it makes a big difference. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then, this also relates to forgiveness, forgiving others. I feel like this is just a really beautiful time where forgiveness, I think, could be a universally spoken about
Yes. That's
emotion
so Pisces because we're
or
clearing
action,
karma.
rather.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we're clearing karma. So we want to be forgiving constantly,
Yeah.
and not taking the past with us, the energy of the past with us in this new paradigm.
Yeah. So fireweed.
Well, I just want to mention something about that.
Yeah.
But I think I lost it.
You want me
Uh,
to hold it up again?
yeah. Um,
Was it the color? Was it
well,
the
it is sort of coming out and being more in the light about their career and doing a more in the light choice around their work. But I did lose the thought, so that's all.
okay. Maybe it'll come back.
If
It's
it's
important.
yeah.
All right. Cancer.
Yes. Woohoo. Well, this is happening in our ninth house.
Oh,
So,
card, Madeline.
oh, thank you.
You're
The
welcome.
amount of times when I go back and I'm like, darn it, I didn't lift the card up, and I almost didn't. Cancer. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So I don't even know what to say of this for Cancer because it's in the ninth house, which is a Dharma house, which is your calling and your mission. And teaching, philosophy, astrology, channeling. It's the house of the sage. So it's like higher wisdom, higher knowledge. So cancers are going to get big downloads, big ideas on a new perception, creating a new path in a journey of raising consciousness. Because if most, well, I have a lot of I have three placements in my ninth house. So I tend to see cancers have that because they tend to be here on a spiritual mission on the whole. Cancers are more so. They're usually pretty psychic and all that. So, and they have sort of the ability to spiritually counsel people. Cancers just people just gravitate towards them for that. So there's going to be some sort of like new beginning in the realm of spirituality, teaching, psychological helping spiritually, psychological. That's what astrologers kind of really do. Um, and perhaps writing project. Sagittarius, we could look at everybody's Sagittarius houses too, because Jupiter rules those houses. That would be in my sixth house. So that's like first cancers, there's healing and a lot of, plus they've got Mars in their first house. So they're really ready because they've had retrograde there. So they've been doing a lot of inner healing, body work, body, emotional pain, body, whatever, healing. So now we're going direct with Mars in your first house. So you're feeling kind of driven and motivated to really initiate some sort of new path in that spiritual realm of bringing higher consciousness messages to the planet with and perhaps a writing project. Um, um, what else could I think of? Travel. That's a big travel house. So with the nodes there for the next 18 months, there's a lot of traveling, a lot of people, not Aries actually, because they have it in their 12th house, are probably traveling. Those are traveling things. A lot of times when you have these traveling houses, they're also spiritual houses because they pull us out of a perception, and you start seeing new perceptions. You see cultures, their beliefs, their spirituality, and so it sort of opens you up. It adds more to your inventory of knowledge. So yeah, increased knowledge, information, spiritual knowledge, studying. Cancers could suddenly start being a astrologer or learning or taking a course or learning something that, and again, none of this is logical. All of it is dream. All of this is imagination, what could be. Because to dream big right now, we can, it is the new beginning. It's what's going to happen. It's the new, we're making a new reality in this new moon. We're literally birthing the seeds of a new reality. So cancers are going to dream big and go for some sort of mission. It's a dharma. It's your calling. It's a new beginning in their true calling.
Well, we have the navel orange blossom.
Oh,
And this is a little bit different, but we still have these like kind of like things like
yeah,
popping up. And I find it just fascinating. So this is the navel orange blossom. And this has it's an energy of inspiration, of this feeling of like you're just it's just so delicious to be alive. It's just like just such a great time to be able to experience life and um to engage with life. And there's a warmth of the heart with this flower also. I feel like most Cancerians are fairly um soft-hearted people. They may not act like it or seem like it, but underneath it, they really, really are. And this is just really allowing them to access that more. That Piscean energy is just really supporting the exploration of their heart and then being able to engage with life in a way that's really, the word delicious just keeps coming. I don't know why, if because of orange in the name or what, but it's like it's just really jumping out.
Well, the ninth house is a lucky house. So it is good to have all this Pisces in their ninth house for Cancer. They're going to have a good year because we got Jupiter coming into our sign, Cancer, which is exaltation. So this is a great year.
Hmm.
Plus, we're going to get a lot of planets in our 10th house. We're going to have, you know, our careers are going to really become more higher visibility, higher recognition, higher presence. Also, actually, this is a house of relationships, the ninth house. So there could be a reconciliation or a relationship from the past coming in. We've got Venus and Mercury about to station retrograde. So that's part of the story.
Huh.
We got a lot of collaborative missions, joint soul contracts coming in. And
Hmm.
again, this goes back to the 2015, 2016. Things could have shown up there that now, um, let's say, for instance, you were going to get a job to do tarot reading and it all fell apart. It didn't happen. Well, now it would work.
Now here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Next sign is
Leo.
Leo. So this goes into your eighth house, right? So for Leo,
Card, Madeline.
thank you.
You're welcome.
See, I rush ahead. Mars direct. I'm Speedy Gonzalez. I thought it would take a little longer for Mars to charge me up because it's still stationing direct. It's not fully, but I can feel the difference
I
already. I feel
guess you were ready.
charged. Yeah. I've been sleeping a lot. I mean, I feel like I've been sleeping like 15 hours a day. I just fall asleep like in the middle of the day for like 2 hours, and then I go to sleep at like 9. I try to stay awake at 9 o'clock.
Wow.
It's like too bad. I pass out, and then I wake up like at maybe 4 in the morning, and then I'm up for another couple hours, and then I pass out until like 8. I mean, it's crazy.
I think there's probably some people watching that are envious of the ability to sleep like that and or
Oh,
the freedom to be able to sleep like that,
I'm very lucky in that way. Yes, I love it.
working for yourself.
Mhm.
It does help.
Yes, I can call my own schedule.
Yeah, it is nice.
All right, so now we're going to go. Wait, did we do Leo?
Nope.
Did I show the card? I showed the card,
Yeah,
right?
you did.
Okay,
You did.
Leo. Okay, so Leo is going to have it in their eighth house, which is challenging. I'm not going to lie. They're going to have Leo's probably going to have a little bit of a hard time here, but the good news for Leo is it really transforms them. I mean, they're never going to be the same after. I mean, for me, for Cancers, we have new experiences and we go forward, but we're not necessarily transforming in these eclipses and in this cycle. But Leo are going to be totally transformed by the end of 18 months. I mean, I'm curious to see how they're going to change, but how they're going to change is with this sort of fearless faith in some sort of mission, in some sort of project. And in the next 18 months, they're gonna leave any feelings of doubt of their ability to manifest abundance. So this new moon brings in an opportunity where the Leo now sees hope of stability of finances from outside sources or joint resources or loans or debt. You could start a project that puts you in debt, but again, this won't be bad to go into debt for Pisces. I mean for Leo with all these things going in their eighth house because they're supposed to transform their life through the eighth house right now. There's a transformation. So there's zero fear, like this end of fear about money, this who cares? I'm going to do this. And if I die of starvation, oh, well, bury me by the tree, please. That kind of a thing.
Okay.
Do or die. Like, I don't care. I'm walking this path. This is my spiritual calling. This is my dharma. It is a moksha house, again, which means it is a emotionally challenging, scary experience, but it liberates you from a long time of fears around money, I would say. So it's kind of like being blessed by these new beginnings, and it's almost like you're taking your hands off a guardrail, like the Leo are going to tentatively take their hands off something, and then I'm still alive and I'm still floating and I'm still financially solvent. Yay, yay! I'm landing. And it couldn't just be fear energy. And listen, you cannot, I don't care how much spiritual growth you have, how much meditation you do, how much energy work you do, all this stuff. That eighth house is getting into the root of a deep issue and it's there and you're not going to fake it. You can't just act like I'm so high vibe and I don't have these fears. That's baloney.
Yep. I totally agree with
Yeah.
you.
It doesn't matter how much evolution you've had in your soul. You got an eighth house thing going on. You've got some knot, some scary thing going in there that you've got to let out, bring into the light, and transform into courage. And that is that feeling of safety again that comes through that breaking through it. But then that feeling of safety isn't just you trying to be feeling of safety because everyone tells you you have to be there. It's like, no, for real, you know you can trust your 2 feet here. And then you got this new paradigm, and then all these planets go into Aries for Leo. So there's a lot of go energy, like new beginnings. Like this Pisces is dissolving, and also it could be dissolving. Let's say you're a Leo and you're in marriage, joint contract. You're dissolving old contracts. You're dissolving old financial agreements. You're dissolving past life karma with things that bound you, made you feel stuck. And so now you have this liberation, you're kind of go lucky, free, go lucky energy. Leos are going to be completely different they're going to be so Leo and so fun and vivacious and live and jumpy and happy. We're not going to recognize them. My son is Leo, sun, and he's, like this. But he's also Cancer rising. So I get it. Listen, I'm like that too. I was, but I'm better now. But there's this like, can I do this dream job and dream direction and go the way I want to go? Am I going to live? Yes, definitely.
Although you could starve and be buried by the tree that you talked about before, but you
If it's
won't.
if it's peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for a while, doesn't matter. That is the path of abundance, is to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for a while, to not be able to afford dessert, and that's okay. I'm not saying that's the case for Leo. It may not be at all. This could be a very listen, the eighth house is sudden windfalls. The eighth house is sudden, it's either sudden financial loss or sudden financial windfalls. I mean, and you're going to have eclipses there, and anything you lose right now, let it go. It's the old paradigm. Don't resist it. Even if it's money and it's like, oh, I've lost money. Let that money go. There's energy behind it that's karmic, that isn't part of the way you're supposed to be bringing your energy and abundance into this new era,
Yeah.
the new earth, which is higher vibrational. So whatever scary things that make you think that you're going to die and you're not going to survive that come up, that is the universe clearing that karmic energy field inside the Leo. Leos are supposed to lead us. They're supposed to be courageous. So this new moon puts the Leo back into their courageous roar.
Let's go. Let's get it, fellow lions and lionesses. So,
Yes.
oh, wow, we can't really see this. I'm going to tip it so you can see a little bit better. So this is the banana yucca. We definitely had this flower before, and I feel like there's a bit of a resonance with this again. There's a little bit of a similarity. It's like it almost feels like we're each sign, it's like flowing into the next. There's this like very supportive, connected energy. I really love that.
Yeah.
So the banana yucca, it's so aligned with what you were saying. It's discovering hidden potential, uncovering your secret talents,
Hmm.
having an opportunity to step into this opportunity for an unexpected leap and bound of creativity, of opportunity. It's just a feel good flower that I think reminds Leos that they're here to do something. They're here to be on the stage. They're here to be the entertainer. And now they're going to be able to see those parts of themselves and express them out into the world around them.
That card is ridiculously so Leo. It's a joke. I mean, Leo represents that solar chakra, that light, and the Leo are here to light everybody up and light them on fire. It's a
Yeah.
desire chart. And what's interesting is it's in that eighth house. Don't forget that is the house of the hidden, the occult,
Yep.
psychic tuning ins and getting big downloads and getting, you know, um, understanding on how to and maybe to start working like I'm working with my son to help him start working with spiritual calling out and how to manifest through the unseen, which is to write exactly down what you want, like write it down, as it's happening and all this. It's my book thing. But so working with the occult, new beginnings in occult matters, absolutely, in the hidden, unseen things. That the job of the Leo is going to be with Pisces over that eighth house is to bring unseen stuff into reality.
Yeah.
My son is Leos are often in fashion and performing, right? So you think, well, they maybe they and Leos are storytellers, right? They're storytellers, performer. Maybe they get a download of a story that's really spiritually enlightening, that's really helping people, and they go, ah. Or maybe like you're doing the gene key thing. Maybe suddenly you get downloads where you suddenly start to really connect with it, and you're like, wow, I can really take this forward. I can run with it. I'm really connecting with it. So it's like something that you're working with in the unseen forces comes in and you're connecting and it's making traction. You're like, I can pull this into my second house because we've got Virgo there. I can pull this into making me money. So
Wow. That was a lot. Have your son listen to that. That was good.
yeah, I will. Good point. I will.
Yeah,
I never listen to me, so
I know.
he will
Maybe
listen to
just
me if I do it this way.
yeah, just record it like this, just a little thing.
Yeah.
Okay, Virgo, what you got for them?
Virgo rising, sun, moon, and ascendant. You can go with all, but mostly I pull the chart to the ascendant. Seventh house. Marriage, partnership, relationships, new beginning, contracted partnerships. It can be agreement, partnership agreements, business agreements. It can be both with a relationship. Most likely is both. Neptune is there. Divine partnerships are very much or twin flames or that kind of a thing coming in where you have a contract. Now it could be let's say it's not just the contract, it's what you're going to be doing with this person or this partnership that just elevates you, that spiritually, because you're going to have the eclipses there. So your whole relationship life is changing. Partnership agreements are going to change, and there's going to be co-collaboratives that basically, remember, Saturn is in on this, which I've completely forgotten to add, which means these beginnings last us this is for 30 years, new beginnings, okay? At least. So we're getting into a 30-year relationship or a big long-term relationship. We're getting into new contracted, destined things that are our destiny. I mean, this new moon is our destiny. They all are, and the eclipses are, but now we're going to see the seedling that plants this new destined situation or a new something comes in from a relationship. You hear from somebody. And don't forget, we got Venus, Mercury going retrograde in your eighth house. So very good chance people from the past come in and then you collaborate with them. You get onto your soul mission with that person. What else can I add to the seventh house there that would indicate? So the seventh house is a desire house. Again, it would be your dream person, your dream relationship, your dream partnership agreement. Now, let's say you're in partnership work agreements. Business partnerships, there's going to be some sort of like dissolving of a partnership. You could also end relationships here, dissolving of relationships, but also higher awareness and higher consciousness or there's lessons learned around relationships here. So there's some sort of like higher understanding and spiritual maturity to be in a partnership so that you're not reacting all the time to your partner, but you've got some sort of ability now to co-create with a partner because you've evolved spiritually where you can manage and balance relationships, agreements. So yeah, a new agreement coming in, new relationship agreement.
It's so interesting when you were talking about, some of the relationship aspects. And, I feel like if whenever there's issues within a relationship, there's usually some sort of tension,
Mhm.
whether it's a mental or emotional or some sort of tension. Well, the dandelion
Oh
will
my.
dissolve mental, that mental tension, give you that freedom. And here we have the two flowers again.
And look
Uh,
at the old one that's withering away, the old relationship that's dying. Or
it's yeah, some
yeah,
or a new version that's
yeah.
blossoming. We're not sure which. And it has an energy of joyful persistence. Dandelions are they're a persistent flower. And some people would say they look joyful. It depends on how you look at it. Some people look at dandelions and they see them as weeds, and other people look at them, probably kids, I find. I remember as when I was a kid, I would look at dandelions and I'd be so excited about the pretty little flowers. But my parents, I think, looked at them like, oh, great, I got a bunch of weeds I have
Right.
to with. So it's really all in our perception. But dandelions are persistent. They will keep showing up with their joyful yellow flowers. Same with Virgos. It's like, there might be an opportunity within your relationships to just be persistent and continue to be joyful and an appreciation for this person in front of you. Um, and it dissolves tension within your body, and that could also dissolve tension within the relationship body as well. And these are just, it's a strong, solid flower in terms of its like foundation and how it's resilient, yet there's a sweetness and a playfulness to it as well. So, this feels really nice as a supportive flower for Virgo and their relationship. Um,
And it seems like
activated.
it's the right relationship, doesn't it? Doesn't that card sort of imply that it is divinely
It,
supported,
yeah,
spiritual
there's a
counterpart?
brightness.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, nice.
nice.
Okay.
Libra.
Ah.
I keep forgetting, I just totally forgot to talk about Shatabisha. This is all happening in Shatabisha, which is, I'll talk about this at the end again, because people aren't maybe listening to this whole thing. But Shatabisha is the part of the sky that's a portal. That is that is a big empty open portal. I'll go into that at the end before we say bye. So everyone hears that if they do. So anyway, here we are, Libra. Libra, that's going to be in your sixth house. So a new moon in your sixth house can be a tough thing because it shows you something you have to end and stop doing. You have to quit something. Let's say you're smoking cigarettes, alcohol, or just sugar, something that's not good, a habit. It can just be a way of living that's stress and addicted to stressful busyness. But basically, a new moon there. And again, this is really spiritual. So you're getting a download, you're getting clarity, you're no longer wanting to operate this way because this is a new paradigm. So you're leaving sort of an escapist, any kind of an addiction or any kind of anything like that is an escapist thing. So Libras are evolving and shifting from escaping into service orientation and with Mars in retrograde in Cancer, there would have been a lot of healing for Libra. But with this Pisces action in their sixth house, there's a complete and utter reset on the day-to-day way of living. Like your day-to-day routines are going to completely change. Now, this is a work house. This is a Arta house. So it's about income. It's about feeding ourselves. It's about making money and creating financial stability and security through our day-to-day actions. So we've got these new beginnings. And again, it's a Virgo energy. Well, the sixth house is usually a Virgo energy. So it could mean writing. Um, it's or health. So a new beginning, maybe Libras, it depends if you have planets there, but then you start to become a healer and you start helping people in whatever it is that you quit or however it is you're shifting. But there's some sort of desire in the next 18 months where you step forward into mission, into service. And whatever is dissolving in that sixth house, whatever habit or day-to-day way of living that is dissolving and going away, is very much the impetus for in other words, the new things that are growing in that space are going to be what the Libra, what becomes their life for the next 30 years. So in other words, there's a new beginning in their sixth house that changes their day-to-day routine for the next 30 years. I mean, it's pretty impactful.
No pressure.
Yeah. But again, this is an area of service. It is coming from your soul. It fulfills us, by the way. This is a dream come true. This is an area that you've wanted to work. You've always thought you could do it, but it was just a little bit out there. Just, I don't know, something about it just didn't seem societally supported or just too outside. Well, now it's not so much weird. And so now there's this sort of new interest in again, this involves spiritual, the unseen realm. And with Virgo, you're going to have an eclipse there in your 12th house. So there's some sort of karmic wrap up here of habits, self, karma to the self, harm to the self. Um, um, so, I mean, I quit sugar on these eclipses for me in my 6th and my 12th. And I know I was escaping through eating sugar. So then when you stop to escape, what happens? You feel, and then you heal it and you face it. So in these new moons with that Pisces there, the Libras are facing themselves and taking on, you can't run forever. So they're stopping and taking it on, looking at it. What's my problem? And everybody has this. It's just for Libra, it's hitting now, right? And so the Libras are facing something about themselves, not running from it anymore, not escaping, looking at it. And it's about self-value, loving yourself and all that kind of stuff. But mostly it's about not throwing yourself under the bus for work or for escaping or doing something on a day to day and keeping busy, meanwhile neglecting yourself. And then you have to then you're not doing well. So then you have to do something to make you to divide yourself from the fact that you're not doing well, but you don't even want to think about it. So all that's changing for Libra. They're tuning in to the self and to what the self needs. I'm not just going to operate on addictive or just motor. I'm just not going to operate out of just operating, if that's the right word. I'm going to be conscious and shift and change. But again, this is work opportunities coming in, collaboratives, service projects, service-oriented projects going forward. So that's a big, wide range of possibilities.
Yeah, it really is. Well, they have Society Garlic to
Holy moly.
support them. And Society Garlic cleanses destructive patterns. So I love that for people who
Wow.
might be looking to change something in their life, health-wise, work-wise, this flower it gives people an opportunity to put themselves out there and see themselves as solid and unwavering and protected. And it dissolves any fear of attack. So if they're worried about how people perceive them or how they're engaging with their work life, with their world, with their body, there's no need for that. It's a yeah, it's a really solidly protected flower that allows you to view yourself in a new way and not feel like you're untethered or out there on an island alone. And even with this, you can see it's supportive. It's like I'm here, I'm supported.
It's weird that you said the destructive patterns. That's exactly, I couldn't have said it better myself. That is exactly right. But also, I think that that's kind of a service-oriented picture of like feeling spiritually motivated to go out there and serve
Mhm.
others in an area that you've had spiritual growth around and a transformation around and dissolving an old way of being. And you can teach others how to do that too.
Well, and even the colors are, those kind of like divine
Yeah,
Neptunian colors that you were talking about before. And this, it's again, I can't wait to share when I put all the cards down on
I love
on
that.
on Friday so everyone, can see it on social. It's either here on YouTube or on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. But it's really fun to see all the flowers. And I put the one that's kind of the guiding force and then all the other ones underneath from Aries all the way through. And it's just really interesting to see the different flowers, the different colors, but yet the overlap and the flow of all of the different flowers together, how they all work together. And I think that's a metaphor for us,
Yeah.
working together, coming together.
That also gives you sort of the overall energy of the of this lunation.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Okay, Scorpio.
Scorpio. Fifth house. So, entrepreneurial ventures, dissolving of old friendships, old relationships. They're in the next eclipses that are coming in. They're going to be ending superficial relationships, friendships, but also new beginnings in collaborative, entrepreneurial, outside the box, perhaps performing, perhaps writing, creative projects, or just new friends. And the rest of your chart has other things going on. It could be a new relationship, a whole new a friend. Something has stayed as a friend now turns into a romantic partnership. Um, But again, a new moon in the Pisces energy there is dissolving old connections and collaboratives that are not, shall we say, part of the new destiny or part of the new paradigm. So there's a dissolving of things there in that fifth house, but the new things are going to be much more joyful, much more fun. The right friends. This is a relationship most likely lasting a good 30 years with Saturn there. Um, and your whole life is restructuring around these connections because it's all hitting in your fifth house. So Scorpio having whole new structural life through these friendships, through meeting new friends, because in these eclipses, there are going to be new introductions, new people coming in. South Node is in the 11th house. So that's going to be letting go of controlling your image on social media, letting go of stresses, of relationships that were tribes or social media projects that were just hard work and a lot of work and no joy. Now we get all this stuff happening in your fifth house of joy, fun, creative, exciting, adventure. Let's go. And it's almost like this sort of, there's this flow, fun, and inspiration from the higher realm, because inspiration means inspired by a light, the light coming in. So we're getting this inspiration on these creative projects with relationships, romantic stuff. I'm thinking of you right now. Book writing, books, storytelling, but even just sort of it can't just be new friends, but these new friends are going to be collaboratives. There's going to, or a relationship, there's definitely a collaborative, creative out uh, outcome of this that is going to basically propel the Scorpios into kind of a more creative life for the next 30 years. Something that's because it's Neptune is right there. I mean, it's very artistic. So there's some sort of outside the box way of venturing into something that is more higher consciousness. And a lot of joy is created in that experience.
I mean, talk about joy. Look at this flower.
Oh my gosh.
That flower is just joyful, right? It
Very
really,
much.
it really is.
Yes.
So
It's like fun, having fun, like, going around and like, da, 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 having fun.
playful, like just
Yeah.
really playful. So this is the Mandavia, and the Mandavia supports a sense of freedom, a sense of creativity, very much fifth house oriented. It's this deep appreciation for the present moment, really falling in love with what's happening in your current reality, like falling in love with what is, accepting things as they are, while no longer feeling a discomfort around losing something. You were talking about that a little bit ago with this energy as well. Like, you're not doing things because you're afraid you're going to lose something. You're doing it because you're in love with it, because it speaks to you, because it gives you a sense of freedom or creativity or playfulness. And yeah, this card to me, playful, fun, joyful, um, yeah, and it just, I don't know, there's like also love coming out of the center of it too. It's just, yeah, it's a really beautiful
Yeah.
energetic support for Scorpio.
I think I know how this might work out for you. I mean, I think there's some sort of evolution going here with your co-collaborative person in a creative project. And don't forget the fifth house is performance, storytelling, right?
Yes,
Creative writing, all that.
shall be
Very
an
intelligent
interesting.
house. It's a very the fifth house is like it's a Leo house, but it can be seen as the intellectual house of the intelligence too. So it's like there could be intellectual projects, intellectual
Hmm.
projects.
Hmm. Yeah, fun. All right. It'll be really interesting to see how it unfolds.
Yep. Sagittarius, fourth house, Pisces over your fourth house. So I happen to know a Sagittarius rising who is turning, she has quite a bit of land here in northern Idaho, and she's turning it into a beautiful retreat center. Lots of tiny homes on it that look absolutely state of the art. She's making a magical environment in her home. My son, who's Sagittarius double, he now lives in a magical environment. He moved to Puerto Rico. He's got magic around him. So it's like the Sagittarians are moving into a more magical environment, their dream living location, their dream home, their dream family. These are new beginnings there. So something shows up that shows that in these eclipse series for Sagittarius, where they're going to move, new family, perhaps children coming in. Um, um, a Sagittarius woman could become a mother, but we're and then new properties, real estate, investing in them. Um, the thing about the fourth house is it's where we feel safe. It's where it's Cancer. It's where we're at home. It's a new nest. It's like a happy place, the happy place. But again, we're releasing an old place of living. Now sometimes we have to move because of work and we're sad and we like where we live. So we're resisting. We're not happy. We have to move. Or there's a relationship coming in. We have to move. We don't want to move where the other option is, but it's where the universe is sending us. And we're like, I didn't really want to go there. There's resistance. But then you find out, oh my God, it's magic. It's exactly the right place because all these new beginnings, again, are outside our limited perceptions. So some of these new beginnings may not seem like as fantastic as we think they're going to be. But if we trust in this, the other side of that March 29th, we're going to start seeing the hallelujah of the new life, the dream. This is a dream situation. So to be unresistant is good. Sagittarians can be pretty resistant. They are fire signs or your most resistance. They're the heady people. So yeah, so Sagittarians just relax, go with the flow, move, go here, let this whole realignment happen in where you're living, rechanges, shifts, changes happening there. And again, there's something with that Pisces being there, there's a soul contract that's being lived out because of these moves. So go with it. It's part of the soul contract. And again, we can look at other things going on in your chart, maybe a new relationship or new job or new work things involved. Usually when there's fourth house stuff going on, there's also 10th house stuff going on. But again, this is the fourth house is a moksha house. Again, all the water houses are liberating houses. So you feel set free. You're like, oh my God, this is great. I can, you know, you know, you could start building a house. Like for me, I could maybe start building my dream home.
Oh,
And then by 18 months, I can move in.
oh, that sounds,
Sagittarius sun, so you never know. So
yeah.
anyway, that fourth house is dissolving of living situations, new living situations coming in that really are your long-term nest, 30-year restructuring your Saturn there, restructuring your living setup.
Well, Saggies,
What do
you
we
have,
get?
look at this. Doesn't this look so much like that other card? Hold on, let me look what it was. It looks very much like the banana yucca.
Ooh,
Look at this. Can you see?
yeah.
They're really, really similar.
Who got the banana yucca again?
The banana yucca was, hold on, hold please. Let's see. Hold on. Let me go back this way. It was, I'll have to hold on. Leo. So
Oh,
another fire sign.
interesting.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah, I
So,
think for Leo, all the water houses, never mind. Yeah.
yeah, well, that was
So
eighth. That
that
was
is
the
the
eighth
water.
house.
Leo have water over their
Yeah,
moksha.
eighth. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So, okay. So
Liberating.
Bergmansia. I'm sorry I have to hold it so weird, but it's the only way you can really see it. So this is about letting go, letting loose, the ability to surrender. And this is what I think is so important is assimilation to change or growth. You were really talking a lot about that, Madeline, about how, this time period, it's setting you up for it is a change, building another house or
Mhm.
creating something different as far as where you're living. That's uncomfortable. That can be really uncomfortable, especially if let's just say you've lived somewhere for a long time, or you know building that house it's a big investment. It's a scary leap. Getting used to that feeling and knowing that, okay, this is a change, this is growth, this is good, this is going to be good. So Brugmansia can potentially give you some support as you assimilate to that.
Interesting. Yes, because this fourth house transit comes when I would say Sagittarians have gone through quite a lot of upheaval. I know they have. So it's like this is finally, because Saturn is there, you're finally getting to settle down. It's the
Mm.
settled down energy. Um,
Oh, that probably feels nice for a little.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And I get all these texts coming in right now, so that's good.
Capricorn.
Okay, Capricorn. What do we got here for Capricorn? So third house eclipses. Um, It's fine. Third house is a little confusing, but basically you're letting go of a neighborhood. Often that can be moving. It's a business, it's neighborhoods, it's things that are around you on a day-to-day, and people that are around you, neighbors, siblings, business partners. It is a work house. No, it's not. Is it an Arta house? I get confused on this. I'm studying these houses. I find the houses very interesting. So the third house is a Kama house, a desire house. So then this would be because it's an air house, so it's Kama. So it's like writing, business, media, websites, um, running your own business. I said that. Also, because it's the south node up, I mean, you're going to have this Virgo over your ninth. You're letting go of old beliefs. You're letting go of old ways of thinking. So you have this new, and it's with Pisces there, you're going to have some sort of mind widening, the widening of the mind to other ideas, to imagination, because it's a Mercury house. You get these ideas, you're getting imaginations, you're getting visions of ideas of where to go, what to write, what a new business or a new neighborhood, or, because there's could be other more profound things going on in your chart. But these lunations are having you move or shift your neighborhood, or a new beginning with a sibling, like a new partnership with a sibling, or a business partnership with somebody in your community. Um, or you meet somebody in your community, a new person, or your new neighbors move in, and then you go into some sort of co-collaborative, their fated destiny relationships. But also, I have seen new moons. Well, full moon more. I've seen more full moons. People pass away, siblings or neighbors, but basically, there's this new, just basically new environment around you, new people, new energies with your siblings, new businesses, media. Absolutely, starting a website, working on your website for 18 months, developing a website, developing a media um, presentation, all that.
So we have, I don't know, every flower is like, it's so,
Wow,
I'm noticing it's like, it's so bright. I have to keep tilting it.
interesting.
Yes. It's like there's such bright light coming through right
See what
now.
this is all about.
So this is the yarrow flower. And this one was a little bit tricky. Like I think it's because you said something about the third house being a little, like a little, I forget the word you used.
Undefinable. I always find that house just not that clear to me, but
Yeah. So, and with this one too, I think the key element of this is clarity of mind. That mind connection felt very much connected to what you were saying.
hmm.
However, this is also a flower of detoxing, of recharging, of revitalizing yourself. So I don't know if maybe Capricorns, just because they've had a tough go of things for a while and they've had like these moments, periods of time where it seems like things are really popping, things are really like lining up, and then they've had like I feel like a little bit of like a kind of pullback. And maybe this is just a reminder of just okay, revitalize yourself. Kind of, we're still in these winter months, just to find a little bit of hibernation. Then you're going to be ready to get back out there, recharge your body, detox your body. Even like detoxing from electronics, from radiation, things like that. It's almost like shoring themselves up for the next 30 years.
Yeah, and I forget the third house is communication, our inner dialogue, what we think, and
Hmm.
so that looks like communication, talking, media, all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Cool.
So hopefully everyone can see that okay. But that's yarrow. for Capricorn.
And I don't forget I kind of forgot about the whole spiritual element. You know, they could get spiritual downloads, psychic downloads, intuitive
Mhm.
hunches, you know, a dream, a vision of something to do, you know, communication from the higher realm.
Yes.
Alrighty, Aquarius,
Yes.
Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius. Um, Second house. Um, so old ways Aquarians have been making money, feeding themselves, um, possessions, you know, what they own, are dissolving, getting rid of things, selling houses, or and developing or old ways of making money going away, completely dissolving one way of earning money. And then, or the way they earn their money shifts in character or style. Let's say you're working in the film industry as a producer. Now you become a writer. So something shifts in the way that you feed yourself, in the way you make money. And this again is restructuring and restabilizing your income for the next 30 years because of Saturn being there. This is a dream way you want to do it. It can be a very creative if you have planets there. You could be a talent, creative artist of some sort, and you really feel very inspired, and you get creative downloads and visions and ideas of something to make. Or you have a new, more soul aligned way of earning income that really fills your cup, that involves most likely a divine counterpart. And this is this is this is going to feed you and create financial stability for a long time. Um, what else can I say about it? Again, the eclipses it's going to take about 18 months for this to fully happen, for this transformation, but the new beginning, the idea or the thing that percolates into this big thing is coming in on this new moon. Um, you know, some of these new beginnings may not be that noticeable at this new moon because of Saturn being there. So it may just come in the form of a conversation with someone and an idea, and you're like, oh yeah, let's do that. And then by the eclipse, you actually do it. Like you're like, wow, I thought we were just throwing ideas around, and like, no, we're really going to do this, that kind of a vibe. So, so there's this, it's a really auspicious, eventually very abundant. This would dissolve a way of making money that wasn't necessarily your, you know, easy flow income. Now we've got this easy flow income. It just happens. It's universally supported. You're going to be able to make money. You can see you're stable here. You can see it. You feel it. Um, and then you're going to have that eclipse in your eighth house in that Virgo, which we'll talk more about in detail, but it's going to release a fear and insecurities around financial stability. So this is a stable new beginning for Aquarius in their finances that is really soul aligned and divinely intended for them because the nodes are there. I keep forgetting to not to throw the nodes in. There's so much to talk about.
I know there is so much.
Like,
Well, this is a really beautiful flower for Aquarians called the trumpet vine.
oh,
And the trumpet vine dissolves blocks to self-limiting beliefs and patterns. And now these self-limiting beliefs and patterns can be the blockages to accessing that material wealth, abundance, and prosperity. It also enhances their comfort with being seen and heard, which again, I feel like is so much about what Aquarians are here to do. They're here to be seen and to be heard.
mhm.
And it's also this also enhances their ability to speak freely about what's going on inside of them. Sometimes they're not able to do that. They're not able to. It's like they're so big thinkers that sometimes it's not as easy to come back into here and speak from the truth of what's inside you, because there's like this broader picture, this like grander vision and view that's there. So the trumpet vine really allows them to speak from the heart, speak with their voice, and dissolve blocks that might be keeping them from accessing what's available.
And you want
So
to know what that block is? I just forgot to mention this because it's a very powerful thing about the second house,
let's
which
go.
is believing in yourself, pride, like like knowing your worth, knowing your value. So I think Aquarians are going through a transformation there and dissolving old self-perceptions, old
Hmm.
limited self-perceptions, and thinking that they're not enough on some level. Because that really shows up when you have second house alignments and lunations. You can see where you're cutting yourself short and you're not valuing yourself and you're compromising yourself a little bit. So I think Aquarians are going to quit making money and earning work in ways that are not really fully celebrating the true version of themselves that they're they're who they know their ultimate version of themselves is. In other
Well,
words, something they now they believe in themselves more, like you were just saying, opens this up.
I feel like there's also the flip side of that too, where it's also about valuing those around them, valuing the people that are supporting them or valuing the people that could, um, that are there, those that are showing up for them, those who are see their value and worth, but also it's a reciprocal, it's a balance. It's being able to, um, you show up for others, they show up for you, and it's this kind of like we're doing this together versus maybe valuing other people more than you value yourself, but also valuing yourself more than others also. There's really striking a balance in that regard as well, and being able to really truly see yourself as you are. And that might be recognizing where you might not be valuing other people in your life also.
Yeah.
I feel like it can go
Good
both
God.
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My experiences is mostly about the self, and you go, wow, I'm compromising myself again.
Hmm.
You're like,
Hmm.
damn it, I'm doing that again.
Yeah.
But either way,
Either way, it's
it,
learning about yourself,
yep.
you know, either way. So, um, all right, well, here we are at Pisces.
I don't know I can't say anything. Pisces is a big blur. We both know we have major people in our lives that are Pisces, and I
Yes.
like,
Yes, we do.
Pisces are nebulous people anyway. They're Neptunian. They're you know, out, it's Earth to so and so. Hello. Hello. Do you remember that coffee shop we went to when you came to visit? It's a German coffee shop. And
Oh, I love that coffee shop
I
so
know.
much.
Yeah. And they say, I asked the guy, I said, how do you say hello in German? Because I run into them and I want to say hello in German to them. And they go, hello, hello. So I was just thinking about this to Pisces. It's like, hello, hi, Pisces. That's what I have to do with my son. Hello, Earth to so and so. So, gosh, I can't even imagine what it feels like to be Pisces now. You've got almost every planet in your house, and all the Jupiter and Mars are aspecting it. It's like, I just can't even imagine. We're going to have Venus going retrograde back into Pisces. So it's like, I mean, I would think that the Pisces identity is completely changing. The way that because that first house is your identity. So they're going to have new haircuts, a whole new way of presenting themselves out in the world, a whole new paradigm shift. I think I'm going to go with they start to believe in themselves because Pisces have a problem. See how this card says, I believe? Pisces, one of the reasons Pisces walk a path of poverty, which they do for quite a long time, struggle, is because they don't believe in themselves. It's different from the Leo thing. It's different from the second house thing where I don't value myself. The Pisces thing is I literally don't believe that I can be successful. Like I just don't believe it. They just it's just no. If you tell them, yeah, no, it's doomed, just doomed. No, that doesn't work. It's some sort of thing that God says, I'm going to send you down as a Pisces, and you're just going to not believe in yourself day after day or believe in anything. And then one day, boom, you do. And then watch everything happen for you. Watch it all happen. Watch that was your big block. And it is a Dharma house, the first house. So we've got this deep block of low belief in the self. Honestly, when I say to my son, I go, you just don't believe that you can succeed at this amazing talent that you've got. It's unbelievable. So I think that's going to change. I think that's the big paradigm shift for Pisces. They wake up. They see the spiritual purpose of their creation. They're here to bring us into the higher realm to escape us from reality. They're usually artists and creative. They're supposed to take us into the higher realm. They're supposed to show us something imaginative and unstructured and to bring us out of our reality because our reality is ugh, every day. Our reality, we don't love it reality, but the Pisces have this ability either through the arts or through their just inherent lack of being in reality kind of state or that where they're tuned into another realm, and that connection is important. That we're supposed Pisces are not A-type personality. I know if you got a Capricorn Pisces, that's a different story. But on the whole, they're not A-type personalities. They're tuned in. They're meditating. They're meditative. They daydream. So we're coming into a time now where that is actually the new A-type personality because they're tuning into some other intuitive messaging or nebulous ideas or things that are outside of the reality so that they can bring it in and change our world through that and bring in higher consciousness ideas and visions and stuff. So it's like Pisces become in love and aware of their true gifts and what they're here to do and how important they are because they're very important. That's the sad thing that the Pisces don't know is that being a not such an A-type personality, they tend to kind of go, oh, well, you see, I'm not an A-type personality. You got to be an A-type personality to make it in this world. Well, not anymore. Not in the new paradigm. The new paradigm is the person who's tuned in and takes a minute to connect is going to have something to give us from the outside realm. And so whether you call it spiritual or not, there's wisdom. Wisdom. That's the word I'm looking for. So the Pisces tune into their inherent ability to be higher consciousness, to be wise, to have an innate ability to imagine. So yeah.
What's interesting is what you're saying here too. I think is very fascinating because in the human design system,
Mm-hmm.
there's an aspect of it. There's a piece of that where we've been in this logical mindset. That's kind of the way we've been operating, and we're shifting more into the feeling, the guidance of intuition. So moving from being very logical, being more left brain oriented to more right brain oriented, where it's a felt sense.
Yes.
And I think that's a lot of what you're saying here
Yes.
is, the Pisceans are the way showers of that, of the
Yep.
of the felt sense of navigating and moving through life.
Yeah.
Um,
They've had Neptune in their first house this whole entire time. I think it's like a 15-year transit, Neptune. They've had it in their first house. So they're being completely taken, transformed into being them, into being
mm,
a true Pisces.
yeah. And that's not necessarily an easy thing to do,
A
especially
lot
when
of
they don't
resistance,
really
a lot of
see,
resistance.
yeah, they don't see themselves in that way. So, well, I feel like this flower will be really helpful. It's
Wow.
the chocolate daisy. So again, so bright. I mean, I hold it up here and you can't, but there's that pessimistic, dark doom and gloom. It's not going to work. Everything sucks. You
Yep.
know, but
Yep.
really, you have all this beauty that's there waiting for you. And the message of this chocolate daisy is, and I mean, when you think about chocolate, it's kind of like that sweetness in life, like remembering their sweetness in life. It's
Yeah.
also simplistic. Like, don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. It's just simple. Like, just simplify your life. There's a cheerfulness and ease in doing things. Things don't have to be a struggle or hard. It's just
Yes.
allow them to flow.
I
Um,
think that's what Pisces are here to teach us. You know,
yeah.
that flow, that relax, that flip-flop flow vibe about life, and then it really leads you to the right place. The more flow you are, the more you get led.
There's also mental spaciousness with this flower. You can kind of see there's like space within it.
And the first house is your identity. So they almost identify with that doomsday thing. And now we get this breakthrough like, okay, I can be in the light about this. I can take it out. Like,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Just
tra
that.
I think they're going to be completely different after a few months. I think your Pisces are going to be unrecognizable and literally like, well, because the nodes are going to be there for 18 months, they're still going to be going on a lot of shifts in their identity and who they are and changing. But then they're going to be also in the next couple of months, they're going to have a whole new sort of fresh energy about them, a whole new sort of like it's almost like they come out from underneath a cloud.
I always think about Eeyore.
Yeah.
For those who are familiar with Winnie the Pooh from way back when, um, Eeyore was like, what was it like? One like a pin the tail on the donkey kind of a character, and was there was always like this
Oh, wow.
grayness
Yeah.
around him, and
I
you
bet
know,
they based that off of Pisces. I bet you.
could be, could be. So I'm going to remind you, you wanted to talk about something, Madeline.
Yes. I
So
kind of rushed a little bit there at the beginning there with Mars. I'm just going to blame Mars being direct. Well, it is opposite my Mercury too. So anyway, this new moon at 9 degrees is happening in the part of the sky that's called Shatabisha. It's a nakshatra in Vedic, and it represents so when they look at this 13-degree window section of the sky, they look at the star, the main star of that section, the brightest star, and then they take that star and the energy of that star, and it defines that 13-degree section of the sky. Okay,
mhm.
so this is what's so interesting about this new moon. So this new moon is happening in a part of the sky, and it's a big circle. It's 13 point something degrees, 13.29, or I can never something. No bright star. There's no star there. They don't have a star. And all they have is 100. They call it the 100 physicians, because the light represents help, right? So there's just a lot of little tiny ones. It makes a circle. It's like a circle of no star. So they think it's a portal. They call it the portal. It's Shatabisha. That's where my moon is and my MC is. So
Is it
these
Shatabisha or Shatabishak? Shack.
Shatabisha.
Oh,
Shata,
okay.
Shata.
Okay. I've heard it's pronounced differently, or it's a different place. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Maybe you're thinking of a nakshatra, maybe it's something else. But this is
Yeah.
so as a nakshatra, Shatabisha ends with a SHA. And if you have planets there, you're considered, and I do, you are a channel. You are
Hmm.
literally a portal, a true portal. So this new moon is a portal new moon. I mean, it is literally happening in the sky of Shatabisha. There's no star there. It's like it's basically the opening channel, open door, open thing for everybody to get some sort of download, psychic vision, a spiritual spirit comes in and nudges you.
Gosh, I love that. That's freaking awesome.
So that's for everybody. But you know, if you're a Shatabisha, because technically I am a Shatabisha, because in Vedic astrology you go by your moon, and my moon is in Shatabisha, 1 degree Pisces. So um, this is a Shatabisha new moon. So you have planets there, you're going to get extra downloads. But even if you don't, it will aspect, I'm sure, one of your planets, and you will have a intuitive nudge, hit, vision, dream, guidance from the higher realm that guides you into the new era, our new paradigm, the reset. So this is divinely, spiritually guided shift.
I love that. Hopefully whoever is still with us or those who watch this replay later and you're hearing this, it's like if there's I don't know, it feels like this beautiful opportunity for us all
Hmm.
and to be open to it. This is a time not to resist. This is a time to just be like,
Go with the flow.
yeah, yeah.
You will get sick and things. If you resist, you can. And I don't mean that to scare people, but it just you're putting your energy against a big, powerful force, and
Hmm.
it can wear you out, drain you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, the more you go with the flow, the better.
yeah. And that's perfect for Pisces too, that flowing energy. So,
You
well,
guided home.
yeah, back home,
Yeah.
home, home. Well, always interesting to see how the moon cycles unfold and what comes up and how it plays out in each of our lives and the different portals and openings that we experience in our day-to-day lives as the energy shifts and changes. So I'll be excited to hear from folks. I know people were kind of quiet today. I was kind of popping back and forth, but there were people with us, but they were in
Uh,
their own zone. Yeah, so that's a-okay. But
Well, Pisces, water, we got water, can Mars, water, all those planets in water. Pisces, it's a very introvert, quiet. Mercury's
yeah.
in debilitation. People can't speak.
Well, we thank everyone for being with us, quiet or not. We appreciate you. You can always leave comments, ask questions. We're happy to support you if we're able. Our information is below if you want to reach out to Madeline or me for some clarification, for support, for whatever you need. We're here. Like, subscribe, share, all the good stuff, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. We're going to try to get on a regular schedule, but with Madeline's schedule and my schedule, it was a little tricky. So we appreciate you guys showing up. So thank
Watching.
you.
Yep.
See you in 2 weeks. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.